product launch in Poland. And we're going to look at what it takes to launch a new product in Poland. What are the obstacles that we see? What benefits do we see? And why are we interested in this? And so our team, made up of those below, are going to go through a couple of different reasons why we believe Poland is a great opportunity for us. First and foremost is the culture and business. So we want to understand the culture a little bit of Poland and what kind of things we're going to have to look at as a business. So in many ways, the cultures between the US and Poland are similar. As you can see with the Hofstede cultural dimension chart that we have, a lot of them are pretty similar, but you can see a couple that are different, including the uncertainty avoidance. So Polish people are very risk adverse people. And they're looking for plans, rules, and predictability that's all laid out clearly. The next one is the power distance. So employees are looking for straightforward direction from their leaders, and the leaders make all the decisions. So when making deals, we need to have people of proper authority talking to similar or level positions. And then the third and final difference is the indulgence. And so when selling products in Poland, we need to understand that the Polish people don't indulge themselves very much. They have a low score. And so when they're buying product, it has to be worth their time and their money as well. Communication comparison between the Poland and the US. They're pretty similar as far as context goes, and so that's meaning that we both the US and Poland want to have clear and detailed instructions, and you're saying what you mean. There's no hidden meaning behind what you're saying, but basically the Polish people say what they mean. There is some indirect communication when it comes to feedback and as well as disagreeing, and that comes from the belief they don't want conflict, but also with feedback it is indirect because it's coming from a higher up, and so there isn't room because of that hierarchy that they have. And scheduling, as far as scheduling goes, they need to have a schedule in advance, planning it out and being prompt and ready to go when the meeting is scheduled to start. Yeah. Negotiating in Poland. So when doing business with the Poles, they value integrity in relationships over deals. They have a lot of history in their country that reflects this root of trust and why they value trustworthy relationships, and so that affects the business as well. And so it's important to spend the time getting to know that person. So your first meeting with somebody will likely it could possibly end up just being a get to know you, a meet and greet type of event, and then push forward towards that next meeting, doing some deals and that kind of stuff. But it's important to schedule ahead of time, like we said in the last slide. And when that meeting happens, it's important to show up on time. And then when meeting, we want to be straightforward. The firm handshake is all that is needed. Physical contact is not a great thing, so just a firm handshake and no other contact. The deals themselves are needing to be straightforward and to the point, like we've talked about. As far as negotiating, they're not against negotiating as long as it benefits both sides, because they are very they avoid conflict, so they're also very against haggling and bargaining, and just because that shows like they're trying to cheat somebody out of a deal. And so when approaching a initial business deal or whatever, they want that deal to be around the ballpark of what you're aiming for. So they don't want to go super high or super low. They want it right in the middle at the start. It's the government and the political influences. And so the government right now is going through a change, as is many, but it is mostly based off of a republic with equal judicial, executive, and legislative branches. As you can see in the picture, we have the President Andrzej Duda and Prime Minister Donald Tusk. They're relatively new in these roles, and they're the ones leading this change that is going to present an awesome opportunity for business. In previous administrations, the relationships between Poland and the EU have been strained. So Poland is going through changes currently because of this. There are short-term risks as they work through these past growing pains, but the long-term gains are worth those risks. And so while this reformation is going, our goal is to develop strong relationships with the local businesses first, and then as the EU relationship with Poland opens up again, it will be beneficial for all parties to be there as well. The Economic Freedom Index, it's published annually by heritage.org. It's an analysis of 12 economic freedoms demonstrated in the country's economic and related socio-economic policies. And in 2025, Poland was rated 45th out of 184 countries with an overall score of 67.1. Scores from Poland compared with global averages are shown in the graph you see below. Two positive standout data points are enhanced trade freedoms compared to global averages based on tariff rates and open participation in international commerce without excessive government interference. This signals the ability to invest internally and across borders and allows Polish citizens to freely participate in international commerce. Among the negative obstacles are high government spending and an inefficient judicial system, which puts a heavy financial burden on business owners and affords little protection from those that violate labor and economic laws and practices. And so we believe and expect that with these changes in the government, that will help out with this concern. So business regulatory environment. So when thinking about opening a business in Poland, it's essential to consider the importance of existing businesses. Business regulatory environment, as well as to compare it with the regulatory environment of the region Poland belongs, OECD high income region. In the following charts, we can see the comparison of data between Poland and the OECD high income region. These charts compare information regarding the ease of starting a business, paying taxes, enforcing contracts, and getting electricity. It is important to identify the indicator numbers where Poland differs greatly from the region in such a way that there is evidence that some things in Poland may be more complicated when doing business. When comparing data, it is obvious that Poland is at the cost evolved to starting usually takes more time than some countries of the region to go through different kinds of legal procedures. That's an important thing to consider. Also, a business or paying taxes may be somewhat challenging in Poland particularly. So in conclusion, going through different kinds of legal procedures may be tedious and take some time, but we think that we can counteract that. Important tariff and free trade agreements. Let me open all these up really fast here. Jumped ahead. Oh man. I don't know why it won't let me go back. Okay, I guess we'll skip that slide for now then. Foreign direct investments, the FDI. Poland is all for fair participation, as we've talked about. They want a fair deal that benefits everybody. In 2023, this shows because there's over $25 billion or billion euros inflowing from the FDI. Poland is a hub for trade, being centralized geographically to a lot of countries that are part of the EU. And so, being part of the EU also causes investors to go with Poland as well. They also have a few programs to incentivize investors, such as the Polish Investment Zone, otherwise known as the PIZ, um, which allows applications for up to 70% exemption rates from income tax. There is an increase in the wages in the major cities, so targeting the smaller cities would allow for higher tax relief, skilled labor, all for a lower cost. The current economic conditions. So what we're looking at going into starting a business in Poland, a lot of it is the GDP, the inflation rate, as well as interest rates. And so the condition of the Polish, so these conditions are looking pretty good for business. Um, as many countries have seen this, the past few years have been kind of all over the place, raising prices, lowering GDP, increased interest rates because of COVID and wars and all these terrible things. As those are kind of calming down, we're finally starting to see these spikes level out. So the inflation rates in Poland are recovering, and we see them dropping and settling a little bit. It comes up a little bit, but that's pretty normal. And so this is a good time to enter the product market because for the first time in a few years, people feel like, hey, things are not as expensive as they used to be. So it's like a break into such high prices for products that they feel like, oh, this is a good time to buy things because I don't know when it's going to raise again, so let's do it now. Um, Poland is looking to make changes so that businesses can produce and trade easier within the EU, and so this will help as well. We see the interest rates are still high, but they look like they're leveling out, so we're starting to see those interest rates plateau a little bit. But then the GDP percent growth, it's also leveling out, and so it's a little stronger, it's a little more predictable right now, and so it's a good time to open up a business. The Polish zloty, it's recovering as we've talked about. But yeah, so basically the currency the main risk with currency is looking at one, the inflation rate, but also keeping an eye on the US dollar and where that's going, because that will affect what we are leveling out at around 4 zlotys to the US dollar, and so that just means a little bit higher costs. So as far as the products that we want to look at introducing into the Poland market, the first one is a backpack, and we decided to call it the Todio. And it's more than just a backpack because it's a support bag for Poland. Poland's risk-adverse, predictability-loving young adults. Unlike traditional brands like Plekak, Damaski, Octus, and Exopack, Todio feels personal, almost like a friend, which is weird to say about a backpack, but it features interchangeable organizers tailored to work, play, or relax. Or relaxation, I guess. A bottom compartment for snacks or lunch adds convenience. For busy days, Todio isn't just practical, it's designed to lighten life's burdens and hold space for what makes each day feel more manageable. And that kind of helps with the culture. People going places, traveling. Here in the United States and other countries, we drive a lot. And so we store a lot of stuff in our cars. In Poland, that's not as popular. And so having a bag that can carry what you need for your day is ideal for the average person. The other product we're looking into is called Nazdrovi, which means cheers to your health. And so this is a wellness drink that we'll introduce into an unmet market in Poland by using local ingredients. We celebrate Poland and all that it has to offer. There are generic health drinks such as Liquid IV, Primal Greens, and Wild Wonder, but no real local Poland dedicated health drink companies. And Poland deserves to have a health drink looking out for Poland from Poland. And Nazdrowi will be that drink. And this Nazdrowi translate to your health as a toast to include the traditional culture of drinking alcohol, but it adds a health beneficial twist. So we have the excitement of drinking, the traditions of drinking, but with a health benefit. But yeah, looking at that one. And then the other one is the Stoma, which translates to straw. And as you might be aware, the EU is starting to implement restrictions on single-use plastics, and that means Poland needs a smarter, more sustainable way to drink. And here we come with a sleek, durable, hygienic, reusable straw made locally from 100% recycled materials. Unlike the cheap generic alternatives that you can find online, the Stoma stands out with its bold design and Polish craftsmanship. Again, tapping into the Polish pride, that culture of being from Poland, and the wonderful things that they've done. The initial demand might be modest due to the market saturation, but the shifting in global trade dynamics could make these imported brands pricier, positioning our product as the local homegrown choice for eco-conscious consumers who refuse to be ordinary. That's our presentation.